Okay, so I've emptied out and laid out all of my kit here. There's also a couple of items which at the moment I'm not going to be taking because I can't make them weigh 5 kilos. But still, I'm going to take you through everything that I consider to be essential and what's definitely made the cut. So here in the hydration pack will be the bladder itself, which has got its own compartment on the back, and I've got a couple of Talk energy gels in an easily accessible back pocket. I'm a huge fan of Talk sports nutrition. Like, you can run all day using their stuff. It's worked fantastically for me in other endurance events, and I probably leaned really heavily on it to get around things that I wasn't quite fit enough for. So here's another one. Moving to the side, this is my Neo X-Lite Air roll mat. So this is extremely lightweight, extremely packable, but when you inflate it, you have a mattress which is about 3.5–4 inches thick and instantly insulating from the cold, which means that you can carry a much lighter sleeping bag, which is quite a good weight saving strategy. So that's made by Thermarest. It is the most fantastic product. I've been really impressed with it. It's not waterproof, so it's in its own Aquapack dry sack, which weighs all of 12 grams. That's another fantastic watertight product. In here I've got my medical kit. So my strategy has been, some things you'll be treating the horse, some things you'll be treating yourself. I've got basic first aid, wound management, and then for me I've mainly got pain management and a couple of strapping, like self-adhesive bandages, zinc oxide tape, that kind of thing. In terms of exciting medications, I've got most of a course of ciprofloxacin, which is a pretty broad spectrum antibiotic. I'd really rather not use them, but if it kept me in the race, then yeah, I would take that in case of some sort of gastro thing. And then pain management is the other stuff. I've got a really strong non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, and I've got a strong codeine-based painkiller as well, and some plain paracetamol for anything feverish temperature. And then other than that, it's dry dressings. I've got a set of sterile gloves in case I need to do some serious first aid on a horse. And yeah, apart from that, my mother always says, don't complain about something that you can just medicate, so I'll just go for the stuff to make it numb and keep going, hopefully. So that's medical. My boyfriend's very keen that I carry these light sticks. We do have a helicopter. It's mainly for media and moving the vets around, as far as I'm aware, but he seems to think that if I set these off and whirl them around my head, then rescue will definitely be on its way. Right you are. These are my spare clothes. As you can see, it's fairly minimalist. What this contains is a down waistcoat. This is the super packable, really compressible, lightweight. Something to sleep in, which is obviously going to be dry, so I've just got a pair of kind of pyjama bottoms and another t-shirt. I've got a second Under Armour super lightweight. I've got a second pair of the Danish endurance socks. I've got a second pair of pants. And then I was kind of thinking I could bring a second pair of shoes or flip-flops or something to wear around the camp in the evening. Yeah, I definitely can't. I don't have enough weight for that. So what I've got is a set of lightweight socks with a little bit of grip on the bottom. So I could basically walk around barefoot, but without getting my feet spiked by something out there. And that's it. So that's spare clothes. Again, it has to all be self-contained in something waterproof, because this whole setup will be underwater 3, 4, 5 times a day. So the swims with the horses, we're not talking about wading, we're talking about deep river swims. This is my waterproof jacket. This is a Helly Hansen, just performance, straightforward shell layer. This is spare batteries which power the GPS. A couple of, I wouldn't say cosmetics, but kind of unguents. So I've got a little travel stack from the top, some soap, some, I can't remember what that one is. This is Biofreeze. If you don't know what that is, you need to go and get some. Again, it's a kind of numbing, cooling, muscle relaxing agent. It's fantastic. And the bottom one is toothpaste, because oral hygiene is really important. Also in here, some bug spray, some sunscreen, some chapstick. Mine's tinted, just gives your face a bit of a lift. You could also use a clear one if you preferred. And then lithium batteries. So the GPS, again, this has been kindly lent to me by some Derby veterans, Cy Lloyd-Jones and Gemma Ratcliffe. This is the Garmin GPS Map 64S, which is one of my favourite devices actually. It's got a much bigger screen than the comparable specification Garmin's, and it's got a separate button for almost everything, which I find is much easier to navigate at the gallop on a horse using this device. It's got a lot of memory on it, so it's pretty fast scrolling, and I know for this event we are going to have multiple tracks downloaded onto the device, kind of like at badminton. You can take the direct route, or you can go a little bit longer if your horse is a bit more novice-y or not keen on a big drop fence or something like that. It's a similar idea. There are going to be some fast, straight, but quite dangerous, very testing routes, and there are going to be some more alternatives for, people who are less confident on the horse that they're riding. So I'll have 2 days at pre-race training to get to know my team of 3 horses, figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, and deploy them in the order which I think suits those horses. So the routes that I'm looking at on the GPS will be very much in my head as to, well, this one is a great climber, this one's a very confident swimmer. So I'll be scrolled in very close to the tracks on this GPS. What that means is you get through a lot of battery. So on something like the Mongol Derby, the event that I've organised historically, you can navigate from a sort of distance of 5 or 8 kilometres, as long as you're basically on the right bearing. You can just look for the horizon and keep riding for that horizon. On this race, you need to be scrolled right in, really zoomed in to see exactly where the line is taking you. So I'll be definitely burning through quite a lot of batteries. And the thing about lithium batteries is that they are about 3 times as high performing as a standard alkaline battery. So hopefully I can save a lot of weight by bringing just lithiums and giving it the premium fuel, as it were. So that's the GPS. Knife, gloves. I've got a spare pair of gloves because, as we said before, the leather is slower to dry, and yeah, if they do get a dunking for whatever reason, I want to have some spares to deploy. What else? The towel I don't think is going to make it. It was a nice idea. It's a bit too heavy. It's quite difficult to pack into this. The sleeping bag is currently in just an ordinary dry sack, but again, when we arrive, we do get provided with what's been described to me as a waterproof cantle bag. So if that really is waterproof, then I will save probably 25-50 grams by taking this rab down sleeping bag out of its waterproof jacket. And finally, at the top here are a few things which I'd quite like to take but currently don't have the space or the weight for. So an extra bit of duct tape. This is just 5 meters of extremely versatile life-saving stuff, and some water purification tablets. If I can think of a way of including those in my 5 kilo weight limit, I will do so. But yeah, that's my essentials for the race. If you can think of anything that's spare, write in. Okay, thanks.